Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Road to Radical Visibility. I'm so excited that you have agreed to be here with me today, whether you're watching the video or whether you're listening to it on the podcast. I appreciate your participation and being in the audience. If during any time you are touched by anything that says or it resonates with you, I'd love for you to be able to put it in the comments below of the video and even in the podcast, and feel free to always reach out to me at rachelfreemonsowers@gmail.com. As many of you know, the Road to Radical Visibility show and podcast is really about helping LGBTQ, neurodiverse, and female communities become more bold in the expression of themselves, their mission, and their truth in both business and life. And that is really what I am all about. My name is Rachel Freemon Sowers, and I am a licensed psychotherapist and a visibility coach. And I'm excited to talk about our topic today because I just got off of an interview with another person. And the beauty of synchronicity, right? This is what happens all the time. And this person was talking about how often they have visibility hangovers. So in today's episode, I want to talk about and give you some tips of what you can do to decrease what is called the visibility hangover, and how you can really create sustainable actions and a way of being to be visible 100% of the time as yourself in your business and in your life. Because, right, what happens is that we have these times of high energy and times of lower energy. And what this one was explaining to me is like during Pride Month, which was June, where she lives, there's a lot of activity in her foundation. There's a lot of guest speaking. There's a lot of push to have more education, to promote LGBTQ plus communities, businesses, all those kinds of things. And how after June, she had felt like she had a visibility hangover, like she was just exhausted from constantly putting herself out there. And I see this happening a lot, both in my therapeutic career and as a visibility coach. And for the last 18 years, and helping hundreds of people really overcome the things that they're struggling with and build a sustainable way in which to address them so that they can have the fulfilling life that they want to have. They don't have to have so many of these ups and downs. And if you're watching the podcast, or if you're listening to the podcast, I'm taking my finger and moving it like up and down mountains, because sometimes we push up the mountain and then we get so tired, right? And for me, sustainability looks more like rolling hills. It looks like being able to give a talk and being able to be present and authentic with those people, but not drain my energy 100%. It's about being with someone and helping them work through emotional trauma, their emotions, ways that they want to be being instead of what's happening. And it's not really absorbing all of that, but really it is helping them channel that energy through their body, and also me not holding that onto them, but also channeling that through my body so that it doesn't get stuck. Those emotions that really aren't even mine get stuck in my body. But what happens is, even in a therapeutic sense, or when someone has an emotional reaction or an emotional decision, they say, okay, I don't want to be like this anymore. I don't want to be the person that doesn't speak my truth 100% of the time. I don't want to be the person that's constantly trying to figure out who I need to be with each individual person in each individual circumstance in this way and that way. It's too exhausting. That's one of the things I tell people that I work with, like, what you see is what you get. I don't want to, it takes too much energy for me to be what other people want me to be. I just want to be myself. And that journey through really discovering what being myself actually meant, being myself actually means and is defined further than by how I want to be interacting in the world, the energy exchange that I want to be having with others, and honestly, the energy exchange that I want to have for myself. So the first thing is, in creating that sustainable visibility, it's really about how am I showing up for myself so then I can show up for others the way that I want to and interact with them. But what happens most, and if you're not watching this video, I'm just going to show a couple of just kind of visuals that were developed by my mentor, Morgana McCabe Allen, and how I'm helping people understand the gap that they're having of why they keep having an emotional revelation. They say, I don't want to do this. They say, okay, I'm going to do this instead. But the only thing is that they only do it once or twice, and then they're exhausted from doing it. And it's almost like, well, it's easier to go back to the old way of doing it. This happens a lot with visibility. When I work with business owners that say, okay, I want to do video. I know I want to show up for my people in this way. I want to reach more people in this way. And they like will do one video because they're like boosting themselves. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this video. I'm just going to do this one video and I'm going to just do it. But what happens is that they cycle back up to, why do I feel like I can't do a video again? I've done it one time. Why can't I do it again? And then we go into self-defamation and all of those things where we start talking negatively to ourselves, and even find that it can feel like failure. So what do we need to do? How do we close the gap? So I'm just going to show you this little thing here. Just get my pen. All right. So I'm naming this therapy. So sometimes this can happen if you feel like therapy hasn't really worked for you, or you find yourself coming back to the same spot. So in this part of the wheel, in the kind of emotional processing that you're doing, or the moving through, what's happening is that you have in this order, you're living in the ordinary world, but you know something's not quite right, right? So you go to find help. And then in this part, your heart is calling you and is saying, I don't want to do that anymore. This is not how I want to be experiencing my life. This is not how I want to be experiencing my business. And so I need to make a change. So then you start to become your guide, or you find a guide. Now, the guide is really all about developing this ultimate trust in yourself. But what happens is that you only do this for a minute. You only are able to say, okay, my therapist helped me, my mentor helped me, my coach helped me. And then, okay, this is what I'm going to do. So then you drop down here and you try to start doing the things that will make you have the feelings that you want to have and be in the world the way you want to be. But what happens is, because all of these sections here don't get taken care of, and I'll explain those later, you get the result for a minute. So this is where you realize, okay, this is what I want. And then you do it one or two times for a short period of time, and then you stop. And then you're up, why can't I do this? Why is this so hard for me? I'm accomplished, I'm intelligent, blah, blah, blah. I know how to run a business. My business has survived for so long. Why can't I? Okay, I'm going to try this other tactic. I'm going to do this other thing. And this is kind of goes along with doing. It's like, it's not so much of doing, it's a way of being. In our society, I don't know if you've experienced this, but I've experienced it, that I have been taught, like, if I do more, it means I'm worth more. I'm more valuable, right? If you do more at your job, you're more valuable. That's why I don't work for someone else. Work for myself, because I'm valuable whatever I'm doing or what I'm not doing. For me, being is more valuable than doing, because when I'm being, the doing just comes and isn't aligned totally all the time. Another part is, well, if you give of yourself, and you're constantly doing these things, and the more you're there for someone else, that means the more worthy of a person you are, or a better person you are, or you're sacrificing, or you care about others more. I mean, like, it's kind of like that thing. And so the accomplishing isn't what creates sustainable success and visibility. The process in which you can move through emotional states, become your own guide. And if you're watching the podcast, I have a circular kind of wheel that's been created by my mentor, Morgana McCabe Allen, and we're incorporating this into the work that I do with people. What happens is, here is when you take this full set, you begin to develop the ultimate trust in yourself. And then you start having moments of decision in which you are trusting yourself, therefore solidifying that you are safe in a different way of being in your body. What happens here is, you try something once, your body says, I'm not safe, I'm not safe. Let's go back to here and try and figure it out and contemplate all day long. Let me know if you get stuck there. Then the next phase is like, okay, this is how I'm going to cross into this new way of being. And then I'm going to produce some results here, right? And this becomes where you start developing your new reality. And then right here is where you meet your allies and your enemies, both internally and externally. So it's about knowing the inner critics, knowing about the multifaceted parts of yourself, knowing about how your trauma plays a role, right? All of those kinds of things. And then in this lower bright yellow is the trials in approaching the new ordeal. Like what are some of the struggles you're having? You're going to work through those struggles right here in the shadow, and then you're going to come back, and what's going to happen is that your vision of how you want to be will be then solidified. So as you work through this whole entire process, what happens is that you begin to be able to do this over and over and over again because of a couple things. You're able to tell your body it's okay. You reduce the trauma response, and you do it. You can see how it works in any given situation. And this is like the most important part. So the parts that are missing are these parts. And this is really what you need to do to succeed, to create sustainable visibility, to not have visibility hangovers, to not feel like you're either giving, or not giving it all and protecting yourself. I mean, there's two different things there, right? It's either one or the other. It doesn't have to be one or the other. You can continue to move through this cycle. So what happens is if you move through this cycle as you're being visible, as you move through the cycle, what happens is that when you get here, so let's just say you want to be more visible and you want to use video. Okay, I notice that these are the emotional things that are holding me back. I'm going to begin trusting myself. I'm going to move through this. I have now a new realized reality. And now maybe you're saying, okay, now I'm ready to speak on a stage. And then you go through this process. But the beauty is that you get used to this process. So it's no longer how draining it is to try and show up for people. It's no longer about, oh my God, I have to do it again. Oh my God, one more video. Oh my God, I have to post again. It becomes more of, this is how I want to be. And therefore it is a very natural response. Now, if you're someone that is saying, oh, I'm an introvert, I can't do that, I want to tell you that you can. And if any of you are extroverts and you're like, I can't extend myself one more way, then what I would really suggest to you is say, which ways are you extending yourself that are not allowing you to be the person that you want to be? Even if you're an introvert, you do and are able to do the things that ultimately you want to do. But it has to switch from a shoulda, woulda, coulda, have to a desire. And that's really what takes place when you're looking in being the person that you want to be, not just doing the things that you want to do. We're able to really activate the reticular activation system, which is in the base of the brain, which then we can say what we want to focus on and what we want to be a reality. So remember, we do have the power. And if you're finding yourself, I just can't control my thoughts, I have racing thoughts, there's too many things going on, I would love for you to reach out to me. Put a comment in below, or find me on TikTok, Rachel Freeman Sowers, or you can even email me at rachelfreemansowers@gmail.com and let me know what your struggles are. Because when you stay in that space, you only know what is in your own brain until you start to entertain and, like I say, play with the possibility that something else could be true. Oftentimes what stops us of playing with the possibility is us fearing that if we play with something different, or if we believe something different, we won't know who we are anymore. And I want to encourage you that you are who you say you are. You are who you are being in the world, and you get to say who that is and how that happens for you. So if you're feeling like, okay, I've done this, I feel the emotional work, I get stuck in this pattern, I find myself feeling like I'm just back to where I was before, why do I keep struggling? And you demean yourself and you feel more failure, It's time to get out of that cycle. And if you're ready to get out of that cycle, I would love for you to go to my YouTube channel and push the subscribe button and find out more ways, because I'm really going to be talking about this a lot, about the different steps and the different ways that you can begin to pull yourself out of that cycle, because you're only operating on half of your potential, I guess. There's a whole nother part that once you open up, it becomes a sustainable way of being visible to yourself and to other people, and it's no longer exhausting. If that sounds great to you, hit me up. I'd love to hear from you. So that's the end of the podcast today. I'd love to hear what you think about the podcast. Please rate and review this if you're listening to it as a podcast. Or you can, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button and let people know that you truly, let me know that you love this content and how else that I can help you create radical visibility in your business, in your life 100% of the time. I'll end this video like I end every single video and ask you to please stay true to yourself, be kind to others, and always, always, always honor the wise one that is within you. Stay true and be you. And I'll see you on the next road to radical visibility. Talk to you then.